This area is a very beautiful area, surrounded by hills, full of trees. The fauna and the flora of the area are luring the tourists, and Kashipur is an area which is full of perennial streams. The people are having a happy life. First intrusion took place when they started cutting the trees of the jungle. There were many hunter-gatherers living in that area who were depending on jungle economy. But because trees were cut and animals were killed, the time came when hunter-gatherers began to suffer, and there were starvation deaths in the area. Non-Adivasis started telling the people that there will be development in the area, and they wanted to cheat the people, to make the people think that nothing important was going to happen in that area. So when the first survey took place for starting the factory, the bauxite mining, people were not aware of it. But gradually awareness came, and because of the fact that Nelco is a nearby place, and the people were aware of the problems faced by the people of Nelco by the Adivasis who were displaced, consciousness grew and people started resisting.
So this culminated in December 16th of 2000 with 3 villagers being state police who opened fire on a crowd of unarmed villagers. 2 weeks later, on December 29th, an inter-village council was convened. 22 out of 24 of the elected councils opposed the mine. And in early January, about 10,000 people gathered from the Kashipur region to say that they will die before they allow the mine to go through on their land. So the Orissa government, on January 20th, 2001, initiated a judicial inquiry into the issue and put a halt on all UAIL activities in the Kashipur region. Later that year, in December, the lead investor, Norsk Hydro of Norway, divested from the project completely, and that left basically by 2003 Alcan with a 45% share in the project, and their former subsidiary Indal with a 55% share in the project. So by August 2003, Alcan in India started in Montreal, basically inspired by the People's Movement in Kashipur and inspired by what happened in Norway, because a lot of church groups and citizens groups were able to put pressure on Norsk Hydro to divest, and that's the real point of Alcan in India, is to put pressure on Alcan in Montreal.
Mambu Niamgiri Paharita Manabu Ma Jongole Ma Pahari Mambu Ambini Sarkar Vati Seva Mam Peja Hivale Dorkar Hile Mambu Ambani Vergu Ambani Akhu Ambani Au Unjisi Manji Manabu Are Duniani Sarkar Vahananga Maga Dabiki Majaneru Sarkari ki Mam Peja Hiabu Magu Maga Jone ki Ara Sarkari Soro Soro Vahananga Pector Gapi Maneru Are Horu Karnabu Horu Kupla Maknabu Unji Maneru Mam Peja Hivale Dorkar Mamu Niam Roja Enisaisi Jormona Teyu Ebelata Niam Rojade Mam Jormona Naga Ma Tadi Bela Aji Belatine Mam Manja Manabu Jungle Katisi Horu Katisi Pahada Katisi Mam Bonchai Manabu mabu enisai mabu peja hina bu sarkari mabu peja hioli mabu hiabu.
Here bauxite is an alluring item of business for multinationals. Hindalco has come, a company or a corporation, Alcan, known as Alcan, which comes from Toronto, has combined with Aditya Birla and together they are trying to exploit the area. Sterlite is another company which has its eye on the bauxite deposits. So it is just looting people. We can say it is plunder.
आपण मैंने जो देखुं ये जो नियमगिरी पहाड़ ये गाँ पाखे थी पहाड़र केते किलोमीटर पछरे अच्छी जो नियमगिरी बॉक्साइट जो हजार हजार कोटी टंकार बॉक्साइट माइन गच्छित अच्छी एड़ा बड़ा खनिज पदार्थ को सरकार वर्तमान वेदांत भली एक कंपनी की दवापाई ठिकार बॉक्साइट खोलियापाई चाहूँ देवाई चिंता कर जो डंगरिया गाँ ये पहाड़ रे से माने जीवन जीविका निर्वाह कर मैंने देखुं ये जो पोड़ू चाष करी से माने मांडिया कोसला कंदा कांदुल झुडुंग सबु प्रकार फसल से माने उत्पादन कर से माने निजर जीवन जीविका निर्वाह कर एक ग्रीन फॉरेस्ट ये एक सबुज फॉरेस्ट रे लक्ष लक्ष टंका हजार हजार कोटी कोटी टंकार मूल्यवान काठ जंगल संपद लघुवनजा द्रव्य भली प्राकृतिक संपद भरपूर
Madini amgiri horuta elo mama cycle radio
Madini amgiri horuta elo mama cycle radio
Madi pasatari manelo elo mama cycle radio
Madi pasatari manelo elo mama cycle radio
Madi suamundi manelo elo mama cycle radio
Suamundi manelo elo mama cycle radio
Eda tinjisi manolo elo mama cycle radio
Eda tinjisi manelo elo mama cycle radio
Eda onjese manolo elo mama cycle radio
Eda onjese manelo elo mama cycle radio
Madina polo manelo hello mama cycle radio
Madina polo manelo hello mama cycle radio
Madina kamla polo manelo hello mama cycle radio
Madina kamla polo manelo hello mama cycle radio
Eda anaksha dore nolo hello mama cycle radio
Ada parala dasadoge lo mama cycle radio
Madi hinga bada anat kisa dolo mama cycle radio
ये जो आमर नियमगिरी एक प्राकृतिक जंगल ये जंगल प्राय देखा जाए ना जो ठारे चिर सबुज चिरस्रोता झरणा ये एक संवेदनशील जंगल घंच परिपूर्ण जंगल कमला सपुरी अदा रे भरपूर आपण मैंने देखा पाँच ये किभली भाव में कमला भर्ती हो रही तले अच्छी सपुरी ता पाखे अच्छी कदली ता उपरे अच्छी अदा ये एक मिक्स क्रॉपिंग जोटा कहती आदिवासी जीवन धारा सहित उत्तरप्रोत भाव जड़ित विद्या किए शिखे ना ये गछरे दुई प्रकार मदांगर अच्छी गोटे तले अच्छी यहाँ को भांडा कहते आउ गोटे उपर अच्छी सिम्बिडियम भांडा ये दुईटी मदांग ये गछरे अच्छी तेणु यह गोटे निश्चित सत्य जे ये संकेत दौची नियमगिरी रे परिपूर्ण हिसाब रे जंगल जीवजंतु दुष्प्राप्य औषध रे भरी परिपूर्ण
The clashes were basically construed as an anti-industrialization movement but it was not actually an anti-industrialization movement. It was basically to ensure that people get a better rehabilitation package. And there has been a communication gap between the government and the people, as a result of which clashes took place. And bauxite mining, whether it be in Kalahandi or in Kashipur, is supposed to be most eco-friendly, for the simple reason that the layers are on the hilltops, and the mining company is supposed to leave a wall around the circle of the hill, as a result of which it results in rainwater harvesting, and what you'll find is on top of the hills you can go for pisciculture later on, and your groundwater is also recharged. This is happening in Damanjodi, Nalco, and we expect that if Nalco can do it, these private industrial houses will also follow the stipulated regulations as far as mining is concerned.
आमर लड़ाई 1993 मसीहारू आरंभ होईची लड़ाई आरंभ होवार मुख्य उद्देश्य होची भिटामाटीर सुरक्षा पाई जेहेतु आमे समस्ते एटिर लोक गौड़ हो पाइक हो सुंडी हो दलित हो जड़िया हो परजा हो समस्ते आमे चाषी जाति आ माटीर पोक आ चाष उपरे निर्भर करी आमे ए अंचल रे बंचुचु.
The whole thing reached a flashpoint in which the anti-party, pro-mining political formation which was there, they wanted to force their way in, and not being able to come in, they insisted that the police force should come in and repress the movement. Having got the mandate from all political parties, the police force came in, and when they were not able to counter the people in any way, they fired into the mob.
December 16 तारिख दिन ठीक गोटे दिन से माने आमे सिना पारलो नहीं बोली कि से माने पुलिस फोर्स पठाइले 5 प्लाटून पुलिस पठाई कि आमर मीटिंग टाकू भांगवा पाई आसले. आमे माने माइकोंच गाँव रे थिलु आउ माँ माने भी थिले समस्ते थिलु. से समय रे से माने आसले आसिकी तुम मैंने कौन करुछ बोली कर पचारे माँ मान को आमे तो बाहर थिलु तापर माँ मान को दोनों माँ को आगे मुंडे मारदेलु कौन है बोली आम मैंने पुरुष लोक गलु से गलारू तुम मैंने आस ना 5 मिनिट अच्छी फायरिंग करदेबार तुम मैंने आसले फायरिंग हो बोली कहले तापर तथापि आमे डरी गलु डरी किना साइड रहीगलु साइड रहा से मैंने आइले माँ मान को कहीं मारल बोली अटकाउलु अटकाउवा समय तुम को खेदी खेदी मारू बोली खेदी खेदी आम मान को मारले डंगर उपर आम धाई जाऊलु से समय मोर पछरे जो भाई माने शहीद हो गले बागरीजला 2 जन भाई दामदर आ रघुनाथ अभिलाष को सेठी ही मरागला.
माइकन्स रे 2000 मसीह रे गुलिकांड होइथिला तापरे सेठी 3 जन आमर भाई माने मरी गले दामोदर जोड़िया रघुनाथ जोड़िया अभिलाष जोड़िया आ 7 जन सेठी फंगु हो गले बहुत लोग आघात होइतिले तापरे मध्ये आमर लड़ाई जारी रहिला 2004 मसीहा टारू एटी फेरे आउरी नोआरे रिप्रेशन हला.
एटा होची कच्चीपद्र आमे जमी चाड़बू नहीं केते गुली पायरी मार खाइलु ने एते कैसे हेलु ने जइल गलु ने आरी आमे जमी चाड़ी करी आमर नाती पुती आमर झील पुटी चाकरी जानी चुकी आमे पाठ पढ़ी चुकी सेटा जमी चाड़बू आमे मल्ले मरबू सेना जमी चाड़बू नहीं. आमर जागा तास केमती हेची ए वर्षे सेटा काई पारु नहीं से टंका टंका कि टंका आमके टंका दरकार नहीं से कंपनी के आमे दरकार नहीं आमर जागा आमके कताऊ जेमती हेउ आमे मल्ले मिसा मरी जीवु सेना आमे जमी चाड़बू नहीं.
Affairs program, Canada Today, to India. One of the world's largest aluminum producers, Alcan of Canada, will be the focus of a demonstration here in Montreal in less than 2 hours from now. Members of the solidarity group Alcan in India want the aluminum giant to stop its participation in a mining and refinery project in Kashipur in India's northeast state of Orissa. Abhimanyu Sood is one of the organizers of today's demonstration. Just before the program, I asked him why some of the villagers of the region, and he's one of the organizers of today's demonstration.
We're taking it to the public in Montreal and to the decision makers at Alcan. Myself and Frederick, we're both shareholders in Alcan. We're going to go in and speak and talk a little bit about the issue, address it with the shareholders. We really feel that this is something they just don't know about. If they knew about it, they'd really start taking action on it. Frederick, you want to say a couple words?
Oui, peut-être quelques mots juste pour dire que, comme Abhi le disait, on est les deux des actionnaires d'Alcan. En fait, ce qu'on vient faire aujourd'hui ici à Montréal, c'est de questionner les représentants d'Alcan, les autorités d'Alcan, par rapport à ce projet de mine de bauxite et de raffinerie d'alumine qui a lieu dans la région du Kashipur, dans l'état d'Orissa en Inde, dans l'est de l'Inde.
Savoir exactement quand vous allez rendre public l'étude d'impact environnemental qui a été faite par Engineers of India il y a déjà 2 ans et qui, par la loi de l'État d'Orissa où se passe ce projet-là, on est obligé de rendre public des rapports d'études environnementales. Donc ce rapport-là n'a pas encore été rendu public après plusieurs années.
Media is supporting the corporations, not the people. At the national level, nobody bothers. Till today, no important leader of any political party has visited the area. Even the leftists have rejected them. That is one of the unfortunate things connected with this. In the case of other movements in Orissa, a movement like POSCO, at least the leftists have come to the picture. But here at Kashipur, it is a people's movement. Leftists have deserted them totally.
Basically, we need that the environmental impact assessment that's been made be made public. It's been approved by the government, but by law it's also required that it be made public to the people who are going to be affected particularly by the project. Second of all, we need proof of the people's support for this project. As Angad said, Alcan is claiming that 23 of 24 officially project affected villages are in support of this project. And third of all, we're asking that Alcan come on a joint venture to travel to the Kashipur region together with people who are concerned about the issue as well as with the press.
It is a people's movement. Women folk are there, men are there, and in many villages the police was not allowed to enter.
सरकार आमर दाबी को आज पर्यंत विचार को नेउ नै उलटा आमको आमर दाबी को कोनोसी विचार न करी करी से जबरदस्ती एटी सर्वे काम करी करी आ सर्वे को विरोध कला परे सर्वे को मना कला परे आम लोगों को नाम रे मिथ्या केस करी करी लोगों को बहुबार जेल रे नहीं हैरान करिछि आ आमे बेल रे आसीचु जे फेरे जेल रे नहींछि जेते मना करवा सत्ते मध्य हमको हैरान करी चलीछि किंतु आमर दाबी को कोनोसी विचार को निया जाऊ नहीं.
And it is very revealing that the administration takes a completely lopsided view, a completely partial view when there is a question of big projects coming into an area and when there is a question of industrial development. The people's voice is consistently and persistently repressed through several ways. So during the whole of the second half of the 90s, the conflict increased. And in the year 1998-99, there was an attempt to really, mobilize all the political forces to promote the factories and to, clamp down on the people's movement. There was a judicial commission of inquiry that was set up. The judicial commission of inquiry tried to actually have an impartial process of finding out about the whole incident and why the whole incident had happened. But in the end, the judicial commission of inquiry, despite all the observations it has made inside its report, it came out with a conclusion which did not really point to the atrocities done by the companies and the atrocities done by the local administration and the local police against the people. And they almost acquitted the police force which had in fact played a major role in in the whole firing. And they tried to say that the mining, the environmental issues should not be a cause for stopping mining and industrial development of the area.
దీనికి సంబంధించినటువంటి ధూళి ప్రతిరోజు వాళ్ళు 5,000 టన్నుల యొక్క రిఫైన్ చేస్తే దీనిలో 3,000 టన్నులు రెడ్ మడ్ వ్యర్థ పదార్థంగా బయటకు వస్తుంది. దీన్ని ఎక్కడ దాస్తారు? అలాగే ప్రతిరోజు 3 లక్షల నీరు వాడతారు. అందులో జల కాలుష్యం ఉన్నటువంటి నీరు 30,000 లీటర్లు బయటకు వెళ్తుంది. ఈ 30,000 లీటర్లు కానీ భూమిలోకి కానీ ఇంకితే సబ్బవరం మండలం అంతా కూడా కొన్ని సంవత్సరాల్లో పూర్తిగా దేనికి కూడా పనికిరానటువంటి పరిస్థితిగా
Tinjisi manolo hello mama cycle radio
Eda tinjisi manolo hello mama cycle radio
Eda onjese manolo hello mama cycle radio
Eda onjese manolo hello mama cycle radio.
A project which had its origins in 1992 as a joint venture in a region of India where the local communities, I would say, living at what would be characterized as a subsistence level, hunting and gathering. The area where the bauxite is located is unoccupied land. I mean, it's a common range area, and there are some hamlets in the vicinity, one or two, which are not impacted by let's say, where the bauxite would come from, but by access roads and things of that sort, which would need to be put in place for the facility. There are 147 families that live in these area, approximately 2,000 people, I think, altogether. There are another 23 or so villages in the larger region, all but one of which have signed on their their own, developed motions in support of the project. Again, it is a project. Second, with respect to the environmental permitting process, that is also a very public process. And as those documents come forward, we will be happy to share them as well. And in the meantime, we would very much like to continue a dialogue so that perhaps you have information which is not available to us, or we have information that would help you understand what we're trying to do here.
In our country, where the tribal areas have rich natural resources. Now here, they are capturing it through Jindal, somewhere else you see they are capturing it through some other multinationals and so on. The objective is one, to capture the resources. Now, this bauxite has a special significance because this is a basic essential raw material for war industry, aluminium. And therefore, the entire bauxite in the Andhra Pradesh and Orissa and extending to Chhattisgarh, and it will get exhausted. So this is what the plunder is on.
Bauxite తీయాలంటూ మన ముఖ్యమంత్రి గారు Bauxite తీయాలంటూ మన ముఖ్యమంత్రి గారు గ్రామ గ్రామంలోన సర్వేకు పంపుతుండ్రు గ్రామ గ్రామంలోన సర్వేకు పంపుతుండ్రు Bauxite తీస్తే చాలు Bauxite తీస్తే మనం దండు కట్టాలన్నా Bauxite తీస్తే మనం దండు కట్టాలన్నా.
So we have a fantastic rehabilitation and resettlement program in Orissa, but I must admit that in spite of the excellent R&R policy, it is the implementation where we bureaucrats bungle. Now you go to a tribal village which is to be displaced and there is hardly anything, and we displace them to a location which is totally new, a couple of kilometers from this original inhabitation, and we spend crores of rupees, and yet we are not able to create a habitation to their liking. So this is something which has to be looked into by the bureaucrats. The R&R policy is fantastic, but as far as implementation is concerned, we are always found wanting, and as a result of which there is trouble all around.
At Raigada, they had rallies. At Kashipur, they had rallies. Again and again, they confronted the police. Again and again, they challenged the administration. But ultimately, so many people were jailed. Another peculiar feature of this movement is that in spite of the fact that the newspapers did not highlight the atrocities of the police, the people faced, say, lathi charges, and they were also sent to jail. And nearly 40 to 50 people were sent to jail, were put in jail. But even then, their morale remained high. And today, for the last 12 years, they have been fighting. But because of the continuous police repression, because of the terrorization, because of all methods being used by the corporations to browbeat people into submission, the movement has lost steam in some villages, but it still continues in some of the important villages.